What's up guys, I'm student Dr. Thompson. In this video I'm going to share my story about getting into medical school, and I hope to offer some advice for high schoolers and pre-meds who want to do the same. I'm supposed to give you traditional advice. You should be really involved in high school, get good grades, study hard for the ACT and the SAT, get into a good college and start right away into your pre-med requirements freshman year. Follow your pre-med advisor's advice to the T and take the Mcat after junior year in college so that during senior year you can apply to medical school and then go straight into medical school without skipping a beat from undergrad to medical school. But I myself am a non-traditional student, and I feel like in some ways I have a big advantage. So I'd like to share, that with you, and I know it won't be the best advice for some of you, but for others it might. So here's my story of how I got into medical school. In high school, I grew up in rural Idaho. I wrestled in the winters, I played soccer in the spring and in the fall, and in the summers I worked full-time. As for extracurricular, I was always involved in student government. I also got my Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts of America, which was a ton of work. But then I didn't take the ACT till the end of my senior year instead of my junior year, which would have been wiser. I didn't study for it, and I didn't sleep well the night before, and so I did really poorly. But luckily, it was just good enough for me to get into the college closest to my house. So I got into college, I started freshman year, declared business management as my major, and then after freshman year, I decided to take some time off. I took 2 years off completely from school, and I spent that time living in Switzerland, volunteering as a missionary for my church. Then I came back from Switzerland. I started school back up again 4 additional years, so yes, I was a super senior. Finished my degree in business management. I got married. I spent 6 months looking for a job after that in economic downturn, and I got an awesome job, and it was a really high-paying job. It was in corporate sales, but I hated my life. I hated my job, and as I've shared before, it just wasn't good enough for me to bring home a paycheck. I wanted my life to mean more than that. So I decided to quit my job and go back to school and do the pre-med requirements. I did that, financed my life 100% on loans, which I've been on since to this day and beyond. And during that time, I volunteered like crazy at Shriners Children's Hospital and other places. I got involved in extracurricular activities. I did research in genetics for a year. And then I finished all my classwork up and then started studying for the Mcat. I studied for 2.5 months, mostly studying on my own, but I also had help from my sister-in-law who worked as a tutor for the Mcat, and so that worked out. And I took the Mcat, and then I got a job as working for an ophthalmologist. And during that job for a year, I applied to 40 different medical schools. I definitely wanted to get in my first year, and so I covered my bases. But I got turned down from my number 1 choice, and then I got accepted into my number 2 choice, and I couldn't be happier. Let me give you some takeaways. Like, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say med school is doable for me because I have enjoyed my life before starting school, and I don't feel the need to have an escape from study. And I know more than ever now that I want to be a doctor, thanks in part to ruling out business as the main route for me. Med school is awesome, but it's a huge sacrifice, and you don't want to get in and have bad feelings about your poor quality of life. So the most valuable advice I have is enjoy life before you start, because it might be a while until you can enjoy it again. Certainly medical school and residency will keep you very busy, And if you're also busy in high school and in undergrad, and you haven't enjoyed your life that entire time, well, that's what makes people have midlife crises, right? And they break down and they decide that they don't want to do this. In high school, I had a very fulfilling life. I enjoyed sports and extracurricular activities. In college, I lived in Switzerland for 2 years. I had a ski pass to every winter to the best ski resorts in the world in Utah. I volunteered in Mexico 3 different times. I took trips down there, camped on the beach, surfed in the ocean, worked in orphanages. I worked for 2 different summers in Alaska driving tour bus. And I learned that I hated corporate sales. I got married. I had a baby. I did all this before starting medical school. And while I don't advise that everyone takes as much time as I did, I do suggest that you rule out other options in your life before committing to med school. I hear too often of students who quit medical school after all that they've done to get in to go code iPhone apps or start a business. And that is because, in my opinion, that is because maybe they didn't rule that out before starting medical school. So while my pathway, again, is just one of a million different pathways, if you ask a million different students, they might tell you a different story. I hope that it helps at least some of you. I hope that you enjoy your life before starting medical school. Not that it's bad, but now I know that I can study and I can focus. And I got all my adventures out before medical school, and then I'll resume those adventures after residency. So hopefully this helps a couple of you, and as always, thanks for watching.